Solo, a Star Wars story, the second Star Wars spin-off movie and the first Star Wars movie not to make any money. This was the first bit of Star Wars media that I didn't ever see the point in, and something that I didn't really need to see. Of all the characters that we could have seen the backstory of instead, like Ahsoka, Thrawn, Ezra or Yoda to name a few, Han Solo was one of those characters that I didn't think we needed to know much about his backstory. Mainly because we can see what Han is like in A New Hope, and you feel like you know his character just from that movie. So, what's the story? A young Han Solo finds an adventure where he joins forces with a gang of galactic smugglers and a Wookiee named Chewbacca. After Han joins the Empire wanting to be a pilot but ends up as a ground mud trooper, indebted to a gangster called Dryden Voss. The crew devises a plan to travel to a mining planet called Kessel and steal a bunch of valuable coaxium. In need of a ship, Solo meets Lando Calrissian, an owner of a perfect vessel for this dangerous mission, the Millennium Falcon. My biggest issue with this movie is that the parts of this movie that I thought would be interesting to me, such as how Han Solo met Chewbacca and the origins of where his name came from, which in all fairness, I didn't really need to know that. We didn't need that explaining. But that stuff is all done in the first 30 minutes of the story. And because I don't care about the story because it doesn't have any impact on the universe like Rogue One did, for example, I don't see the point in it, and I don't really care about this as a movie. Yes, it's nice to see how he made the speed of the Kessel Run and how we got the Falcon from Lando. But again, I don't care about the story in and of itself, so I'm just sat there waiting for the movie to get to those parts. On top of this, the movie doesn't look that interesting either. It's very dark and dull, and it works well in some scenes like where he meets Lando. You know, I want him to meet in some dark, dirty, gritty cantina. But the issue is the whole movie is like this. It's like there's a dust cloud in your face for the entire movie, and it doesn't seem to make the movie nice to watch. And like I said at the start, of all the characters I wish I could see the backstory of, Han Solo was not one of them, and that goes for a lot of people as well. I don't think I know many people, if any, who actually wanted to see this movie. You feel like you know Han Solo from A New Hope. You can tell from his character that he's cocky, he's arrogant. He mentions that he's a smuggler, so you can get sort of an idea of what that is involved with. And because of this, the movie does not really need to exist. The only thing I liked about this movie was that we saw that Kira's boss was in fact Darth Maul. That was cool to see that after the Clone Wars and his Empire of Mandalore collapsed during Order 66, he went into the galaxy and started up a crime syndicate. That's pretty cool to see an extension of Maul's story, but the issue with this is that not everyone that watches these movies watches the animated TV shows, and because of this, when Maul comes on screen, there are a lot of people who are confused as to why he's in this movie after he supposedly died at the end of Phantom Menace. This is the reason why I don't like them mixing up the movies and the TV shows and the animated series as well. There is a difference between making a reference to something that only the people who watch the TV show would understand, but because it's only a reference, it wouldn't be massively confusing if you hadn't seen it. But after this movie came out, I cannot count the amount of videos that I saw posted about how Darth Maul is alive and why he's alive. So do I like this movie? Yes and no. It has some neat scenes in it and explains things about Han that we needed to know as well as things we didn't need to know. But for me, this movie is in space flying completely solo.